Hey everybody, welcome to Landscape Rescue. So my name's Stuart Moore and I was lucky enough to go onto the VidIQ live stream and get selected to have my channel roasted, for lack of a better term. I was very excited about that because you have 3 professional coaches looking over your channel for free. I mean, it's insane. You're getting 3 professionals' opinion on your channel and how it's doing, and if you're on the right track, what corrective steps you can make to have a better channel that's going to reach more people, and you can affect more influence, and you can get your message out there. It was surreal. Let's just say that. I was very impressed that I got picked. So this is a video of that audit, I guess a channel audit or a roast, however you want to say it. I have a lot of respect for them. Let's get into it. Let's see what they said.
All right. If you love plants, you will love our videos. So Dan, since you have now just confessed to being a plant lover, I'll start with you.
Now the joke there is prior to me hitting record, because I was a little starstruck, Dan had made a joke last week or the week before on one of the live streams. Now you got to remember, I've been trying for months to get picked, and I finally got picked through a very early submission of my channel. And so I did get lucky there. I submitted at like 8 o'clock and their live stream was like at 10:30 or 11. So I got very lucky there. He had made a mention that fossilized plants were boring.
Just introduce this channel for us if you can. There is no channel banner, I will just confirm as we show you the thumbnails.
Obviously a pretty focused channel, making, doing something right. 4.5K views, 16K views, 3.5K views. They're definitely catering to a niche. They know what they're doing. I'm just trying to, like, what was the forum like? What were the things they were like interested in having us like focus
Here we go.
Okay, let's bring this channel up. So what's your biggest obstacles? No idea.
So one of the things that they ask you in the form that you fill out is there's usually 3 questions. What is the goal of your YouTube channel? And anybody who follows me would know to help people reach their goals in landscape excellence by showing them how to reduce maintenance and on plants, is what I didn't say that, at a good price. So the second one was, what do you think your biggest YouTube obstacle is right now? And I literally at this point had no idea. I was a little confused about the direction the channel is going. I was feeling a little burned out that I wasn't providing great value to people by just walking around the garden center and just randomly talking about plants that I had already talked about within a 2-week period. And I was just getting a little frustrated, so I tried a bunch of new stuff. That's the backstory here. And so I said, I have no idea. I feel like there's something holding the channel back and I can't figure out what it is. And that's the truth. I felt like my views had gone stagnant on the Lowe's shopping videos where I'm walking around Lowe's, Home Depot, Walmart and talking about plants. I can kind of understand why they were going stagnant, because I was feeling stagnant inside when I was going out and talking about it. And you can only just walk around and be entertaining and be smarmy and be all the funny stuff, because I pride our channel on being a little bit different when it comes to plants, being a little bit more on the humorous side towards things. These were very hard questions to answer, if that makes sense.
Feel like something is holding the channel back, can't figure out what it is.
Oh.
The direction I should be taking. Do I stay on the course I am, niche down? I've been trying some new things. Does it work? So maybe they've reached a glass ceiling, they think, on their channel.
Right.
Maybe they're stuck at getting, this is like the best outlier they can do or not. Or like they have some videos with 16,000 views, others with, 10 times less.
I like the idea of the latest video in the sense that it is like a landscaping professional reacting to like stuff they're seeing other people do. What I don't love about the thumbnail is that it's so generic. It's just a picture of the front of some house, and I'm not seeing a focus on like the plants, landscaping, things like that. And I would just say that if you're going to try new things, that's cool, and I think you should do that. But like, don't let that particular video discourage you if you're not impressed with the views. I think they're good, but I think when it comes to reaction of these types of things, usually they put something pretty like nuts in the thumbnail, like reacting to 5 landscaping mistakes. Show me a landscaping mistake, because right now it's just your face going and there's a house and it's kind of dark.
If there's a testament to how professional these guys are, within 15 seconds, the guy on top, but he's kind of the face of the channel, like he kind of started the vidIQ thing, or at least I feel like I've been watching him for half a decade. You know what I mean? Every week I watch all of their stuff. He said he's probably feels like he's hit a glass ceiling. He nailed it. And then he comes down here and he nails this. I wasn't happy with that thumbnail, but I put it out there because, at some point you got to post something, and I should be more diligent about the thumbnails I put on and make them more clickable. It is what it is.
Like everything in that thumbnail is kind of dark. Like the brightness can be brought up on the entire thing. And I don't really know what's going on. Like I see a purple door and that's all I can really make out. Like but you are more about curb appeal. You're more about the stuff they're putting outside their house. So what are the mistakes? And I want to, it's fine.
Now, in my defense, the purple door was the name of the channel. The pretty purple door is the name of the channel whose content I was reacting to. And not a typical reaction, like I'm not making fun of anybody or anything. It was just a take on a video. But that's why there's the purple door.
I have mistakes, so you can afford to put one of them in the thumbnail to intrigue me enough to click.
I would also pick this thumbnail as well as a bit of a disconnect. Like, presumably this is AI. It's a good AI if it is. But the number one thing you're doing wrong when clearing bushes is what?
Hiring a child.
Toddler labor.
A child doing it. Yes.
Yeah. Which we assume it's not. Like, so we're not sure if this is a comedy video.
What is that? A saw? Is that a child holding a saw?
I don't know. Like, click on it.
Hey, everybody.
That's not a child.
Wait, imagine it was his child, though. We clicked it.
Hobo of horticulture.
Hobo of horticulture. I like that as a value proposition. So
he liked the hobo of horticulture value proposition. That's just a joke, especially because I was wearing a shirt that got burned by battery acid. Yeah, I'm taking this really seriously when I shoot a YouTube video wearing shirts that have battery acid holes in them. I am a lost cause.
So yeah, I think sometimes just the thumbnails maybe have a bit of a disconnect, or as you say, Dan, are a little too generic. Jen, any thoughts from you?
I think this channel, I completely understand why this channel has feel like they've hit a place where they can't get past. I have no idea what this channel is actually doing. I look at this and I don't know if they're giving beginner advice, if they're finding affordable options at your Lowe's and your Home Depots as we scroll down. I don't know if they're doing science experiments, and I know they said they were trying to do new things, but I don't think the target audience could be more unclear.
My target audience is 65-year-old plus females. That is my target audience. I'm just joking. That's 73% of my demographic is 75 or 65-year-old plus female. So if you're not, then you fall in the minority for that. So I would like to have all ages and genders of people on the channel. It is what it is, but that's it was as high as 85% when I first started. 85% 65-year-old females and plus and up. Yeah.
At all. Is this someone who's trying to redo their front yard? Is this someone that just has an interest or a small business that is landscaping? I have no idea who their content is for. And I think they potentially need to figure that out, because they obviously have a lot of knowledge and they have a lot of information to share. But who are you sharing that with? Because all plant lovers, that's a recipe for disaster.
I wonder if this has maybe pigeonholed themselves a little bit. Just going back a month, they were, I guess, doing visits to garden centers and finding the best items there, and they had some nice consistent views, 22,000.
That makes sense. That's a really specific audience of people who are trying to look for affordable plant options that are
Do you see why I'm so excited? Do you see why I'm so excited to have them look at my channel? Without gushing too much, it's priceless. This is a priceless pearl of wisdom. Just every time they open their mouth, something intelligent comes out and it resonates with me. I'm like, yeah. I am having an identity crisis with who am I targeting? I am hitting a glass ceiling. I am frustrated. I have pigeonholed myself into just doing, shopping at Lowe's and Home Depot. And if it was sustainable, guys, I would still be doing that. I wouldn't have to expand my reach if it was sustainable. It's just not sustainable. There is not enough places for me to shop. There's not enough biodiversity around here for me to walk around to all these different garden centers and talk about different plants. I don't live in an area where there's a lot of big nurseries that are growing operations. There's a YouTuber that I really like named Jim Putnam. Very smart guy, very dry, very, matter of fact. He's not about chicanery like I am and goofing around. They have a group of nurseries in Raleigh, North Carolina, in the surrounding area that he can go to. And I might have, if we exclude the Lowe's and Home Depots and Walmarts, 3 or 4, and some of them are just tiny, itsy bitsy little boutique places, It is what it is, but it's not sustainable for me. So the channel is having an identity crisis, and I needed them to look at it. But that's why I was so impressed. I've watched this 40 times, and I keep catching new things that they're saying.
Accessible to everybody.
And then the last one was 3 weeks ago, 10,000 views. So it feels as if they have a bucket that they can fall back on, but maybe they need to do these more often. So okay, you do one about the garden center stuff, which is working. And then the next, there's one here as well. And then maybe the next 2 you can sort of experiment with, but then you kind of have to keep that returning viewer engaged on a semi-frequent basis, because now it looks like they've in the last 2 weeks have done a bit of a big pivot.
They've done a lot of different stuff, but the issue I see is you have a successful channel where you're going and you're buying the plants. Where's the follow-up video of what you're doing with the plants?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you see where it says let's plant stuff? And I try to tell them at one point, but the chat is just going crazy over there. So all I can do to talk to them is just chat with them. So that's the difference between having a channel audit like this and having an actual YouTube coach, which I do have one now. Brian G. Johnson is my YouTube mentor now. So hopefully we're going to get things on the right track. The cool part about that was the day that this happened, I had a meeting with Brian at 4. So if you are thinking about a YouTube channel of your own, I'm a big fan of the VidIQ crew, and I'm a big fan of Brian G. Johnson. They put so much free content out there that you could literally just surround yourself with free content, the free workshops that they do. I chose Brian G. Johnson. I like his personality the most. I think he's very zenned out, and that's who I chose to be my YouTube coach. So he actually reached out to me after I left him a comment, and here we are. They happened on the same day. So I just got obliterated, and they're saying different things. They have a different take on what it takes to be a successful channel. But if you are thinking about something like that, watch this and watch it over and over and over again. And you can even screen record it so you don't have to give me any views. I don't care. But just the tough love I'm getting right now is so valuable. It's so valuable. And it was free. Just insane.
That's a fair point.
That's where are you planting them? How are you planting them? Is this for landscape? Where is the landscape happening?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I did that just then.
I see this
why
one
I scrolled
where it's
down for no reason.
But I don't necessarily see disaster.
Maybe.
I just see no plants.
Maybe it's not AI then. If we just
Your AI program that makes the babies is good when these guys think it's not AI. See, I think she is married and has some kids, which, yeah, someone's putting a ring on it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's locking her down. I like how she laughed out loud when she saw this deal. This is the baby Stewart at Lowe's.
Oh no, it is.
Today we're at the Home Depot.
Yeah, so he's
And
doing some AI stuff.
Absolutely sick of coming up with titles and thumbnails. Today I'm just going to walk around and talk.
What is this?
With my buddies.
Auto do.
What's weird is why that voiceover? It's so confusing. I don't know. Who's that short for? I completely agree with Jen. After spending some more time with the channel, it is true that there's a lot of interesting successes here and there, but yeah, they don't sound like they know exactly how to answer that question, Jen. I don't know if they've I don't know what they would tell us, because we asked them on the forum, what are you struggling with? They're like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting that they have all this success all over their channel, but there's just still not sure.
Somebody said in the chat down there, it deserves more recognition. So that was nice to have somebody from the chat go, the problem with the channel is it's not getting seen enough. I mean, that's just their opinion.
Exactly where to go, which is something, I mean, I've definitely been in that position. When you're playing like games on YouTube and you try a different game and something works, you're like, that was kind of a one-off, but that worked. There's a lot of confusing things that can happen on YouTube that kind of like direct you into different ways. You're like, I feel like YouTube's trying to tell me something, but I don't really know what to do. I was going somewhere with that, but I feel like Rob, these thumbnails really,
it's
like,
just
this is a huge evolution of thumbnails.
Going back 2 or 3 years, they were doing these garden center visits, which were as popular then as they are now. And maybe the creators just got to a point where I don't want to make those videos anymore. I want to try something completely new.
That wasn't actually the case. I wanted some content. I wanted to put content out for my subscribers. I wanted my subscribers to have something to look forward to, and just me walking around the same garden centers every single day was going to get daunting, because I can only go around and shop for plants so many times. I can only fill up the car with plants and then go plant them somewhere in my yard so many times. Even the planting videos where I'm planting something, they weren't doing really well. They weren't compared to the shopping videos. For anybody that's thinking about building a YouTube channel, hold on to your bootstraps, because there's so much that goes into it. Like he was saying, you get these big surges of success and you think, okay, this is the direction that the audience wants me to go into. And then 2 weeks later, they don't want anything to do with it again. And when I say they don't want anything to do with it, you're always going to have, on a channel my size, like 12,500 subscribers, a channel that size, you're always going to have the 2,000 diehards, or in my case, about 1,200 diehards that are going to support you because they know your personality, they know who you are, they like who you are. So for them, you're the content. And I'm not saying this with my subscribers, but I'm pretty sure that I would at least have, if I wanted to do discount shopping at Costco and just walk around and look for good prices on potato chips, I think I would have 1,200 of my diehard subscribers follow me through that. But that's not going to pay any bills. When you change the direction that you're headed on the channel, they didn't ask you for that, right? They subscribed because they liked the content of you walking around a garden center, and then you change it on them. They're not obligated to watch you. You're violating the agreement with them because they subscribed because they really liked you and your sense of humor in the garden center. They're not going to like me. If they do or they don't, it's not their fault, going to garage sales and selling stuff on eBay. Like, that's not why they subscribed. They subscribed because they like my plant knowledge in the garden center. So it's not surprising that they didn't sign up to watch me plant plants and listen to funny songs about plants. You can't take it personally at that point because you're somewhat in a violation of the agreement. That's where I stand on this.
And they're finding they're just a bit lost in the weeds.
I guess where I was going with that, what I was saying a minute ago, is that you should try and figure out what part of this you enjoy the most. Do you like I love Science versus Trees so far on this list is my favorite video here, because I can kind of understand what it's about just by looking at the title and thumbnail, even though I've never had to deal with tree removal myself. I think it's kind of cool that you're saying like you can remove this tree stump without digging, and that the thumbnail is very intriguing to me. And that feels like the kind of channel I would expect, or video I would expect from a channel called Landscape Rescue. So, are there more tips you have like that? I would really start, like Rob said, get some content buckets going and stay with those for a while. Also, like my least favorite video out of everything, if you scroll down a tiny bit, spray with intent. Why precision spraying might be the most important skill you ignore. I assume you mean spraying plants with a hose?
Yeah, and that's my fault. I've got a hose in my hand. I don't have a tank sprayer. That would be a dead giveaway. 100% my fault. 100% my fault. Spray with intent is a video that's absolutely bombed, but I think I'm not going to get rid of it. I changed the thumbnail. I changed the title. That's my fault. That was a stupid move. I liked how everything looked on the thumbnail. It was dumb because it doesn't represent what the You know, there's no mention of herbicides anywhere in there. There's no mention of what am I intentionally spraying. He thinks it's watering. Let's continue.
Plants with a hose, but like I've never heard of precision spraying, and maybe it's because I'm not familiar with the niche. Maybe that's a very common term, but I feel like there's more to that. Like, what's the result? Why your plants are dead? Like, could that be a better title? And and then you get into the video, and it's because you're not precision spraying.
I get what you mean, Dan. It's this like,
Yeah, so if that just goes to show you he's not a plant guy, none of them are plant people, because it's a very confusing thumbnail, it's a very confusing title. That's why they're confused.
idea of maybe you just being a little too clever, a little too intricate with the packaging to a point where it creates a bit of a blocker or accessibility to the audience. And one final question, and this might be sacrilegious to ask this, but like landscaping instead of gardening. What do we? Would you say this is a gardening channel or a landscaping channel?
See, the English really aren't familiar with the word landscaping because they refer to their front and backyard as their front garden and their backyard garden, even if they don't have anything but grass back there. But we would say things like, well, I have a vegetable garden in my backyard. I have a flower garden. You know, oh, what do you grow? Flowers. Right? So if somebody says, well, my garden is in the backyard, and someone would say, oh, what do you grow? Flowers, mostly cut flowers. Or, you know, I've got a couple native gardens, and then I have you see, well, at least where I'm from, that's kind of how we say it. You know, so if someone said they had a garden, or, you know, because I can refer to, you know, I think landscapers and gardeners are different. I think a gardener is more of a maintenance person, where a landscaper goes in and builds new landscaping, where a gardener goes in and takes care of it. I consider myself and my audiences, or my audience members, I consider them gardeners unless they're landscapers. Does that make sense? We're maintaining our own landscape versus going someplace else and landscaping somebody else's house. It is I mean, that's just kind of but I can see why he's confused.
No, this would be landscaping.
You reckon? Okay.
Yeah, this is landscaping.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't, I think that because it's not as clear to you is something they can also focus on in,
Sure.
like I personally think there should be less of an emphasis of them.
I like that she knows my pronouns.
Like a lot of these thumbnails we look at, we see very little landscaping plants. Like it's such a focus on them and their face, which is great. They have a steady amount of community views, around like a few thousand. But if I'm scrolling through, a lot of times there's not going to be anything that's like super familiar. Like, are you making these common shrub planting mistakes? The mistake is so small compared to the creator.
So VidIQ has a plugin that you can that's a free plugin that will help you analyze other people's channels because it's public knowledge. It just kind of consolidates it. They'll go in and they will look at the different metrics. So if you look down right here where it says 37 VPH, that pops up for them because they have the plugin, and that's 37 views per hour, where this Science versus Trees is 325 views per hour at 16,000 views. I think it's up to 35,000 by now. This has been a couple days. And so they can see that, and then that's what they identify and call the outlier. So Science versus Trees is the outlier on my channel, the recent outlier. So if they have a low subscriber count and the amount of views is way more than their actual subscriber count, right? So if you have 5,000 subscribers and you get a video that has 10,000 views, that would be your outlier. So they know what they're doing. They have a lot of tools at their disposal to kind of dissect this.
On the thumbnail, and you can't even tell really what the mistake is. It just says, oh no. So that would be really hard to grab my attention since I don't know who this person is. And if I had interest in landscaping and wanted to get better at it, there's not a lot of focus on the audience that has not reached the channel yet.
Alrighty, thank you, Landscape Rescuer Stuart Moore, for the channel submission. Hope we had an enlightening discussion there.
Okay, so that was basically it. And her end remarks, I interrupted her, which shame on me. for doing that. I really appreciate them doing this. And I know that if you are trying to start a channel, I would love to help you guys answer any kind of questions you might have or anything like that. Take a look at your channels. But just know I'm still making stupid mistakes. I'm still making stupid mistakes. This would be a very good resource to start watching these live streams and try to get in on one of these and try to get a channel review, because it's absolutely priceless. There is nothing other than paying somebody $150 an hour to coach you. I mean, other than that, what else can you do? But me personally, that's not even really an option, just because the channel's really not making a whole lot of money. You know what I mean? It's not a sustainable lifestyle yet. So that's it. I appreciate you guys watching this. I know the tone of this video was more for somebody that doesn't know who I am to watch this, kind of get an idea of how difficult this actually is. So if you are thinking about starting a channel, this might be kind of a wake-up call. You can go to Landscape Rescue and you can hit the videos tabs, and you can analyze the thumbnails and watch the changes that are happening, or watch this a couple times without me talking. I'm gonna try to find this live stream. I don't know if they upload their live streams though, so I've got to get in there and I've got to find it. But if it's available, a link to this live stream will be in the description. All right, guys. I'm Stuart Moore. This is Landscape Rescue. See ya.